Welcome back to the part 2 of the use effect hooks in React. In this video, we shall build a multiplication app using the effect hooks, and we shall understand some concepts in hooks such as dependencies and memory cleanup in effect hooks. In effect hooks, we can mount a callback function in our component to be dependent on something. And I'm going to show you in this video how to pass in dependencies in effect hooks, when to pass a value of dependency and when not to. So let's start building our multiplication table. Let's have a boilerplate first. Come here and let's import use state and use effect. Let's save that. Let's have that space there. In our function, we're going to have to define state like so. Let's say multiple, because we're actually going to have a multiple and a base. So let's say set multiple, set that to use state, which is 0 currently. And we're going to have another state defined here. This is base, and set base is going to be use state, a value of 0 for now. Now let's go to our JSX and let's have something in our JSX. In our JSX, let's pass in a h4 tag. Our h4 tag will have 2 times. Then let's pass in base there. So whatever is our base value, we are going to multiply it by 2. Another h2 tag here that's just going to display the multiple for us. So beneath this, we are going to have a function known as times, an arrow function. In our arrow function, we are going to set multiple and say multiple plus 2. And we are going to create another function here with the name upBase, which is an arrow function also. And this function is going to have set base, setting base plus 1. So beneath our 2 functions, we are going to pass in the use effect hook. And the use effect hook is going to take an empty arrow function like so. And we are going to say const steps is equal to set interval. Set interval is a default function. So let's say times 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. Beneath that, we are going to return clear interval. Then we are going to pass in steps there. Clear interval. We're going to pass in steps. This function here, we're going to pass in steps. The final thing to do here is to come here and let's pass in a dependency, which would be multiple, which is 0 currently. So that's going to be our dependency. So we are going to pass in a second use effect hook, and this is going to take an empty arrow function also, and we are going to create a variable interval, which will be set to set interval, which is a default function also. And we are going to pass in the method we created here, which is upBase. This upBase here, we are going to pass it here, and we are going to pass in 1000 milliseconds also. Beneath that, we are going to return this arrow function that's going to say clear interval, and we're going to pass in interval here. Now, also here, we are going to pass in a dependency, which is base, and base is our state here. Now let's go to our browser to see what we have before I come and explain everything we have here line for line. So let's check our server first. Compiled with warnings. We have some warnings but not an error. So let's check our browser to see what we have. So you can see after every 1 second our multiplication app is multiplying 2 by whatever is displayed here. So let's start afresh. Refresh your page to see what you have. So 2 times 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So this is what we have. So this is what we have. This is our multiplication app running. Now let's go back to our VS Code. Let me explain what we have here. Here we create a state using the useState function like so. And I'm sure by now you are familiar with defining and setting states. And here we came down to create these methods that will set our states like so and send the new value of states for a re-render. In our useEffect hook, we have a callback function inside where we created a variable that is set to a set interval function. So in our variable here, set to a set interval function, we pass in the times method here that runs set states by setting states to state plus 2. We run this method every 1 second. This is 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. And what we have here is a memory cleanup. It is used to clean the memory of this steps variable to avoid performance issues. So when one interval is passed to the next interval, this cleanup function cleans the past interval from the memory. Now let me mention, the useEffect hook here is used to mimic the component did mount lifecycle method. But one thing is possible. We can rerun our useEffect to re-render depending on the update in our states. So we can pass in an array dependency here, just like we did, and this will keep running as long as this state is updated. So this is it here. This is our dependency. This effect hook here will keep running as long as this dependency, which is multiple, is being updated, and multiple is our state here. And remember, we set states for multiple with this method called times. So here in my JSX, I passed in my values the way I want to make it look. Another thing I wanted to mention in this video is, as you can see, you can create states using the useState hook more than once in your components, and you can also have more than one useEffect hooks in your component. As you can see, I have more than one state created here. I have 2 states created here, and I have 2 useEffect hooks in my component. So just to go over this again, this array here is a dependency that you pass to your useEffect hook to check if it should re-render again. If this is an empty array, it's not going to render more than once. It's going to behave like the component did mount lifecycle method. And what we normally pass here is states. So if this state is updated, if this state passed in here is updated, it means this effect hook is going to run once more. It's going to be updated, and when it's updated, it's going to trigger the component to re-render. This set interval function here means upbase will be run after every 1 second, and upbase, as we can see, is a method used to set the base state here. So after every 1 second, upbase is run, and when upbase is run, base is updated by adding 1 to the previous value. And when that is added, it means base has been updated. And when the base state here is updated, it's going to make the useEffect hook here, which it is serving as a dependency in, to rerun. So it's going to behave like component did update this time around. So if you're having any issue with how I explain this, just say it in the comment section. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share.